Good morning, St. Francis, and good morning, people of God. It is Friday, the third day of February 2023, Friday of the fourth week of the year, the fourth week in Ordinary Time. It is also the optional memorial of St. Blaise, so if you want to get your throats blessed, today is the day to do it, although many people, whenever they get their throats blessed, end up with a sore throat, which is very odd. I don't know why. But very early morning for me today because I am going to not San Francisco, I'm going to San Diego, University of San Diego. The Franciscan School of Theology there has asked me to do the course I'm presiding this semester, and so for 3 weekends this semester I will fly out to San Diego for the weekend and then fly back. So this is the first one this semester. So 6 a.m. flight here at Raleigh-Durham International Airport, and so yes, so I'm on my way. But as I go on my way, don't want to trip up the stairs. The readings for today are the ones that we've been hearing from Hebrews. Hebrews is quickly coming to a close. It will end, again, I'm trying to do this so nobody is looking at me, filming myself. Hebrews is quickly coming to a close, finally. Again, since the beginning of the year, we've been hearing from the letter to the Hebrews, and it will conclude on Saturday. But today, it moves into a very interesting kind of place in which the writer of Hebrews is asking the people to whom he's writing. Sorry, I don't know where I'm going. He said the people to whom he's writing. He's asking them to remember how to act and how to be as believers in the world, which is an important advice again for anybody who is a believer in the world. To not love money, but be content with what you have. To be people who are constantly on the lookout for each other and caring about each other. To live generously, to live patiently with each other. All of these wonderful qualities, again, that will make a believer in the world something that is different than the rest of the world, and that values something that is very different than what the rest of the world values. So it is good advice as we conclude Hebrews about what it means to be a Christian in the world, what it means to be a believer in this world, which so many times can be wrapped up in just doing keeping rules and keeping regulations and things like that. It is more about how we interact with each other, how we live with each other, and the impact of what it means to live and to act with each other. The gospel for today is the beheading of John the Baptist, which is always a very interesting kind of gospel. Again, Herod is wondering who Jesus is, and people are going back and forth if he is Elijah or a prophet raised, and then Herod says, and this is Mark's account of it, that John the Baptist has been raised after Herod put him to death. And then you have the narration of how Herod put him to death and why he did so. And so it's, again, this whole idea of a little girl, or basically a second wife who isn't happy that John the Baptist challenges her position as the second wife of Herod, and she decides to get back at him by having her daughter do a very suggestive dance in some ways that enthralls Herod, and then Herod promises her anything, and she asks her mother for what she should get from Herod, and it is the head of the Baptist. It's very gruesome. It's very it's an awful statement of how a child is used for something terrible like this, and yet it is one of these things again that shows our own incapacity as human beings at times, to recognize what is truly in our midst, and to fall into fears and hatreds and anxieties and pains that allow what is in our midst to be taken from us. And that's basically what happens with the Baptist. And then it just basically ends, the narration ends with the disciples of the Baptist collecting the body and burying it. But it is, again, the whole point when we forget relationship, when we forget what we are called to be and how we are called to act in this world with generosity, with patience, with humbleness, with love, with forgiveness, that terrible things result, terrible things develop. And so for us as believers in the world, we must always be conscious of how we act and what we do, because that allows us to become the people that God has intended us to be. And may the Lord give you his peace.